Welcome to the JP8 Report. It's James Pierce with the JP8 Report, episode 342. Good afternoon, everybody in Rumble Land. Thank you all very much for tuning in. It's been a quick morning, but thanks for tuning in. Hey, if y'all are just get down to business. If you're watching and you're not a follower, click the follow button for me. And then click that like button right next to it. And don't forget, we can chat. I look at my screen over here. I got retired Rob 53. He's my hall monitor. So you can chat with us in here. We got American flags and Texas flags in the chat. So you can hit the little emote button and you can choose a couple of them if you want. Man, yeah, it's been a quick morning stuff, getting stuff ready. Wanted to show y'all something before we begin. My wife made these cookies yesterday for a friend of ours. We had a dinner party to go to last night. Man, look at this. About 4.5 inches wide and about 3/4 of an about a half inch thick. These are good. Real, so good. I'm going to put them off to the side so I don't eat it while I'm talking to y'all. But she got the recipe out of the Yellowstone TV series cookbook by the guy Gator that's the cook in her. Those things were awesome. All right. So now I'm hungry. I blame you, Rob, out in the Rumble Land in the chat. All right. So, don't forget to follow us and like and chat. And then I put up another short today, and it's dealing with Texas elections because today is our primary day here in the state of Texas. I'm going to talk some stuff about some elections a little bit later on in the podcast. If you are in Texas and you haven't voted yet in the Republican primary, go vote. You have till 7 p.m. tonight. All right. So where we at? Cookie crumb. Those are good. America 250. All right. So I said this morning on the morning brief, but the first amphibious landing of Marines in American history took place today in 1776 in Nassau, Bahamas, in search of and confiscating a lot of gunpowder and weapons. And they brought them back to the U.S. They were supposed to go to North Carolina, but the captain of the fleet redirected 6 of the ships to go to the Bahamas to get that. Maybe he had an inside scoop that there was, and it could have been a secret mission too. I don't know. And then we have general orders from Boston. This is the second day of the attack, and they're still making preparations for an assault. But right now, there's artillery fire going into Boston. Says no parole or soldier under any pretense is to be absent from his post without leave, in writing from his brigadier general, who is not to grant liberty of running backwards and forwards from hence to Roxbury, but in very special cases. It is not unlikely, but a contest may soon be brought on between the ministerial troops and this army. The general flatters himself that every officer and soldier will endeavor to give such distinguished proofs of his conduct and good behavior as becomes men's fighting for everything that is dear and valuable to free men, remembering at the same time what disgraceful punishment would be to contrary behavior. Every man's conduct will be marked by reward or punished accordingly. In cowardice, the most explanatory manner, the colonels or commanding officers or regiments are to see that the several regiments are properly told off, and the supernumerary officers so posted as to keep the men to do their duty. Particular case is to be taken to prevent the firing at too great of a distance, as one fire well aimed does more execution than a dozen at long shot. We learned that in the Army. All woodcutting parties, etc., are to join their respective regiments until further orders. The quartermaster general may draw the carbines out of the commissary stores and put them into the hands of carpenters or such others as he shall think will use them to the best advantage, taking care to return them when called for. All arms in store fit for use may be delivered out of the adjutant general's order. The brigadiers are to see that the arms in their several brigades are dispatched of the best advantage, placing them in the hands only of such men as they are fittest for duty, and that the spears are used and occasion shall require to supply the defects of arms, as it has been suggested to the general that many of the townspeople, influenced by zeal for the cause of their country, are inclined to throw aid in case the army should be called to action. The general desires that they will, to prevent any kind of confusion or disorder, join different companies in the several regiments as they shall choose, to form themselves into a distinct corps under officers of their own choosing, and put themselves under the immediate command of some brigadier, and that they may not be considered or act as an independent company. 2 companies of Colonel Thompson's regiment are to march forward tomorrow evening to Roxbury with their blankets, arms, and 3 days' provisions ready dressed. The officer commanding the party will receive his parties from the adjutant general. Colonel Hutchinson's and Colonel French's regiments are to march to Roxbury by sunrise on Tuesday morning. I believe the day is Sunday, March 3rd in 1776, with their blankets, arms, and 3-day provisions ready dressed. So those are the orders. They're positioning themselves around Boston to march. All right. All right. So need to talk about this one. This is the Dalmatian Burger Group. They're what do you call them? Smash burgers. Yeah, there we go. Smash burgers right here in Copper's Cove. They make hot dogs also. Everything's homemade and fresh. They are also on the west side of Copper's Cove on 190 behind Bush's Chicken. And they're open Monday through Saturday for lunch, 11 to 2. And for dinner, they're open from Tuesday to Saturday, 5:30 to 7, unless they sell out. All right. So we took care of that. So first opening salvo, no pun intended, is Iran. All right. I got a couple of slides to show you on that one also. But with Operation Epic Fury, I'm just going to give you a rundown. Like I said yesterday, I am not a military analyst. All right, but I'll give you a rundown of some of the headlines that are going on. You can search them out if you want. I got one article about that one, and then we will go into what the title of the podcast is about today, about Governor Newscum out in California. Okay. So the first slide I want to show you is basically the Middle East, showing the different areas of operations that's going on around Iran. The president just said, hold on. Excuse me, man. Oh, wow. I'm sorry about that. I should have left the screen up, man. Okay. So, did I show? No, I showed the wrong one. Hold on just a second. Media. There we go. There's the area of operations. There we go. That sneeze took everything out of me. Okay, this is the basic area of operations, showing what's going on, where the different countries are. All right. So gives you an idea. Okay, so got that one done, get that one prepped and ready to go. So now I know where I'm going. All right, so the president said the Iranian Air Force and the Iranian Navy and all the air defenses has been taken down. So that's one thing they don't have to worry about. They got almost nearly, uh, what do you call air superiority in the entire country. There's an imminent threat to Dhahran, Saudi Arabia. A matter of fact, 14 countries in the Middle East have told their people to go home, all right, to get out of the area until everything simmers down and all operations are ceasing, all right. So everything, and then United Arab Emirates, the U.S. embassy there in Kuwait, also in Saudi Arabia, are closed. Um, to right before the actual offensive operation started. Um, the Iranian negotiator told Steve Witkoff that Iran had enough uh, enriched uranium to make 11 nuclear weapons, nuclear bombs. And that was one of the leading indicators that they had to do something then, or Iran would actually use those weapons as they were able to manufacture a delivery method for them. All right. Um, Israel, I think, is doing some operations in South Lebanon against Hezbollah. They couldn't get enough during their little offensive they had against Israel, so they decided to take their anger out. Israel had to show them who was boss, uh, for lack of better terms. Uh, the Gulf Arab states, that would be the smaller states like Qatar and Bahrain and UAE, um, those countries and stuff. I don't know if that includes Saudi Arabia, but it does include Kuwait. There's all kinds of stuff that's been happening with rockets and missiles coming in. The fact that um, Jordan had to take down a couple of Iranian jets or drones, one of the two. And then see lots of stuff that's spotty. They say a lot on TV, but they don't put a whole lot of it on print. So it's hard to decipher what they're talking about. I do know a couple of Soviet era fencers, which would be Su-24s, were shot down by the Qatari government. Um, so that was one of the reasons why they're going to go after Iran. Used to be like Muslim nations didn't attack Muslim nations, but in the last 20 years, all that's off. All right. Um, and then the big news is the day that there was a senior level meeting in Iran to choose a new imam for the Ayatollah because he died the other day. Um, he didn't know he died until he woke up. But Israel attacked that meeting too and killed a whole bunch more senior Iranian officials. All right. And then we're still standing at 6 killed in action, which is good. It has not advanced since yesterday morning. All right. And then I have a letter I want to show you from the CENTCOM commander. All right. Now, this is good stuff. All right. This is what General Cooper sent out to all the members of the military in the CENTCOM area of responsibility. And to America's extraordinary sons and daughters deployed around the Middle East, by order of the President of the United States, we are embarking on a mission of profound consequence. The time for preparation is over. The time for action has arrived. As we move from deference to active combat, I write to tell you how honored I am to serve with you, the most exceptional soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, Coast Guardsmen on this earth. Some of you are stationed in the Middle East. Many of you are deployed overseas on short notice. Others have extended on deployments of critical uh, missions. You represent the strongest, most lethal war-fighting force the world has ever known. You are selflessly serve your great country, our great country, and make us so very proud. Since 1979, the Iranian regime has killed or wounded thousands of Americans, and they continue to threaten Americans and our friends. Today, by your courage and grit, you will change the course of human history. My guidance for you is simple. Be, uh, I can't read that one word, it's too small for me. In the heat of conflict, relentlessly lethal in the heat of conflict. Remember who you are. Let your conduct be as professional as you are precise. Take care of your teammates, the men and women on your flanks, in front of you, and those that have your six are your guardian angels. Be theirs. Steady your resolve. Combat is extremely chaotic. The hours, days, and perhaps weeks ahead will challenge you. There will be noise and confusion. Fall back on your training. It is the best in the world. You are the shield of the free world, and today you are the sharpest sword. As the eyes of the world fix upon us, stay safe and Godspeed. C.B. Cooper II. He's the CG of Syncom. Okay, I had to read it right off the screen. Could have had it over here, man. Okay, never mind. Relentlessly is the word I was trying to pronounce. It's better on a 10 font than a 0.5 font. That was I was reading on OBS. All right, so need to go right there. All right, I'm all set. All right, so first article I have to read is Trump criticizes Biden for transferring weapons to Ukraine, but insists U.S. is stocked to win. President Trump on Monday accused former President Joe Biden of failing to replenish U.S. weapon stockpiles, though he insisted that the U.S. is still stocked to win as epic fury continues to devastate Iran. U.S. munitions at the medium and upper medium grades have never been higher or better, Trump said Monday in a post on his Truth Social platform. He added that we have a virtually unlimited supply of these weapons. Wars can be fought forever and very successfully using just these supplies, which are better than the other countries' finest arms, the president's post read. But Trump noted that while the U.S. has a good supply of the highest munitions grade, it is not where we want it to be. Much additional higher grade weaponry is stored for us in outlying countries. Sleepy Joe Biden spent all his time and our country's money giving everything to P.T. Barnum, Zelensky of Ukraine, hundreds of billions of dollars worth. And while he gave he gave so much of the super high end away free, he didn't bother to replace it. The U.S. delivered billions of dollars in aid to Ukraine since Russia launched its full-scale invasion in February 22, with Biden approving an additional $500 million in military aid. Hold on just a second. Okay, that was the breaking news. Says Israel believes it killed multiple Iranian officials counting votes to pick the next Ayatollah. We were just talking about that. The U.S. delivered billions of dollars in aid to the Ukraine since Russia launched its full-scale invasion in February 2022, with Biden approving an additional $500 million in military aid in a security package rushed out the door just days prior to Trump's second term began. Unfortunately, I rebuilt the military in my first term and continue to do so. The United States is stocked. and ready to win big. Their Air Force, Navy, and leadership is gone. They want to talk. I said too late. The U.S. launched Epic Fury Saturday morning, working with Israel in a joint military campaign that officials say targeted military Iranian leadership and installations. Earlier Monday, Trump declared that the operation in Iran is ahead of schedule, um, stating that many of the regime's military leaders were eliminated in about an hour. We have the strongest and most powerful, by far, military in the world, and we will easily prevail. Okay. Trump said that the operation is projected 4 to 5 weeks, noting that we have the capability to go far longer than that. We also projected 4 weeks to terminate military leadership, and as you know, that it was done in almost an hour. We were ahead of schedule by a lot. My only advice is don't play by the schedule. Do what you need to do in the appropriate amount of time to do it. Because if you rush it to stay within your schedule, more people end up getting hurt and killed. Hold on just a second. Okay, I'm back. Alrighty. So we're firing large amounts of munitions. We gave a whole lot of munitions to the Ukrainians. Biden failed to restock those stockpiles, even though we have a huge stockpile there. It needs to be replenished. And if we're using it faster than it can be replaced, we're going to end up having a problem if it lasted months instead of weeks. So the president has a good point on that matter right there. Someone asked a question to the Secretary of War yesterday about why aren't we being told everything that's happening in Iran, and Sec War Pete Hegseth alluded back there to them. They will not be told everything, because if they told something that was sensitive in nature or classified just for the sake of giving information out, the enemy could be listening, and they are listening. And what they'll do is use that to their advantage to kill Americans. So that's why he won't do that, and I agree with that too. All right. The next thing we want to talk about is the Supreme Court. All right. So, what's today? Tuesday? Yesterday, the Supreme Court ruled 6 votes to 3, and it was conservative to liberal, about an emergency stay on a lawsuit that's happening in California. The state legislature passed, and Governor Newscum signed a bill that said parents will not be told if their child in their school has decided to be called by different pronouns, and not to be called a boy when he's a girl, and not to call a girl a boy when she's a girl. There was a lawsuit filed on the law. It went in. It was emergency appeal to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said the law stands while it's under emergency appeal in a lower court. So, which is what I truly agree with. The Supreme Court on Monday, because school officials don't overrule the parents flat out, right? The Supreme Court on Monday cleared the way for California schools to notify parents if their children want to change their gender identity without approval from the student amid a challenge against the Golden State's ban on so-called outing of transgender students. The court granted an emergency appeal from a conservative legal group, the Thomas More Society, blocking, at least for now, a state law that prohibited automatic parental notification requirements if students change their gender expression or pronouns at school. The Thomas More Society praised the decision as the most significant parental rights ruling in a generation. Two sets of Catholic parents represented by the legal group argued that the state law signed by Governor Newscum in 2024, it's been 2 years almost, caused schools to mislead them and secretly facilitate the students' gender transitions. But California contended that students have the right to privacy about their gender expression, particularly if they fear rejection from their families who may not support the decision to adopt a new gender identity. Just remember that they're not fully functioning adults until they turn 18. All rights go back to the parents. The state also said school policies and state laws sought to balance of student privacy with parental rights. Last year, state education officials told school districts that the state's policy does not mandate non-disclosure. Newscom's office also previously said parents continue to have full guaranteed access to their parents' education records as required by federal law. He said education records. He didn't say health records. The Supreme Court sided with parents on Monday and reinstated a lower court order blocking the law and school policies while the case continues. The parents who asserted a free exercise claim have sincere religious beliefs about sex and gender, and they feel a religious obligation to raise their children in accordance with those beliefs. California policies violate those beliefs, the majority wrote in an unsigned order, adding that state policies also burden free exercise of religion. Conservative Justices Alito and Thomas also said they would have gone a step further and granted the teachers' appeal and lift restrictions on them. The three liberal justices dissented, saying the case is still in works its way through lower courts and there is no need to take action now. If nothing else, this court owes it to sovereign state to avoid throwing over its policies in a slapdash way. I have no idea what slapdash way means. If court can provide normal procedures in throwing over a state's policies, is what the court does today. Justice Alina Kagan wrote, a federal judge ruled in 2025 that schools cannot prevent teachers from sharing information about a student's gender identity with their parents, but an appeals court blocked that ruling last month, leading the parents to ask the nation's highest court to step in. The High Court has been weighing whether to hear our arguments in cases out of such states as Maryland and Florida, filed by parents who say school facilitated gender transitions without notifying them. What do y'all think? Anyone has any comment on that? I mean, I fully agree with what the Supreme Court said, that parents need to know everything about their children throughout the school day. That you should not be withholding secrets about their children from said parents, because the parents are ultimate responsibility for all health and welfare from everything concerning their kids. That's how I feel. If you agree with me, say something in the chat or put an American flag in the chat. That'd be great. All right? Need some interaction. This next thing is, let's see where I'm at. Before I get to this, Trump will attend the White House Correspondents Association dinner. He had been boycotting for the last several years because everything was just a roasting of the president. But he decided to go this year. Ryan Zienke, he's a congressman from Montana. He's in his second term of office. He was elected in 2022, re-elected in 2024, and he said due to health reasons, he will not run for re-election in November. So the president's got to find another Republican to take his place. All right. All right. So next thing, this is cool. This is an excerpt out of the Epstien deposition of Bill Clinton. All right. So I got this out of the Outkick.com. All right. I don't usually get a lot of stuff out of Outkick. Bill Clinton's Epstein deposition, the most salacious moments. Dun, 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 dun. Alrighty. So, this is crazy. I read through most of this and like, this has got to go on here this morning. All right. Bill Clinton Epstein probe deposition is out, and his promise is one for the ages. All right. So, Slick Willie was really being slick in this thing. During the deposition, President Clinton was asked about a painting of Clinton in a blue dress that the one was in Jeffrey Epstein's residences. The blue dress was supposed to be the same blue dress worn by Monica Lewinsky. When pressed to describe what was going on in the painting, Clinton replied, "I've never seen it in person." I don't know. He also added, "If I had known Jeffrey Epstein had this painting, it would have saved me this whole day." Clinton was asked if he ever introduced Epstein to Monica Lewinsky or any other female White House staffers. "I did not," Clinton replied. Then it came about emails from GMAX, Ghislaine Maxwell, right? What about the emails from Jeff's fixer, Ghislaine Maxwell, to an email address that William Jefferson Clinton, that Clinton aide Doug Band claimed to share with the former president? Someone shared it with the former president. One email from Maxwell read, "There is one juicy little bit I did not let out. The one about what a super stud you are, and how I have a crush on you, and how you are hung like a horse." Whoa. That came from Miss Maxwell. Clinton laughed as he read the one about the horse. Quote from the email. Okay. I keep getting these strange text messages. Okay. And when asked if he believes Band sent the email, Slick Willie replied, "I do." Another email sent from the same address from Maxwell stated, "This email is silly. I want to spank bottoms tonight." Bill wanted to know who sent the email. When told it came from the WHCA account, Slick Willie said nothing. "I did not." Clinton, who swore he did not have sexual relations with Monica Lewinsky back in the 1990s, noted when he had the same physical relation, if he had the same relationship with Maxwell, that he did not. This one is hard to read. Okay, but we've all been wanting to know what happened in that deposition that happened on Friday. This is Tuesday, 4 days later. Messages on the plane. Bill was asked about any relationship he had with Shantae Davies, a flight attendant on the trips. Clinton admitted there was one time when I was sitting up and I got a back row by the neck, back rub. Um, and I think Shante did it, but I'm not for sure. Clinton claims he had a neck spasm. They needed the kink worked out. When a member pointed out that Epstein recruited victims as masseuses, Clinton responded, "I wish Shante would have told me. I, I wish Shante had told me I liked her, but I didn't think it was anything unusual. I can't tell you how many airplanes I've seen where rich people asked me to go and they had someone offering massages. Uh, likes them young. Nancy Mace asked Clinton about a witness who testified that Epstein once said Clinton likes them young. First of all, that's not true. Clinton hit back at Mace while the two got into a debate on her use of the word young. It depends on what your definition of is, okay? Uh, if you know, you know, because that goes way back to the 90s. Mace assured him that he was asking about young women, like White House intern Young. At my age, anybody younger than I am. Clinton fired back. Okay, that's funny because he's 77 years old. Representative Lauren Boebert read from a transcript of Epstein accuser Virginia Giuffre asking Clinton, uh, "Were sexual orgies a regular occurrence on the island at Jeffrey's house?" Yes, my question, Mr. President, were you ever aware he engaged in any of these sexual orgies? Clinton once again denied being on the island. No, Bill Clinton replied when asked if he had ever seen the Virgin Islands with Epstein. And then about the hot tub photo in Brunei. Representative Nick Young, New York, produced a photo um, showing Clinton in a hot tub with young women in the background pool. I don't think I knew the photo was being taken, Slick Willie said of the night in Brunei. And then Epstein and Maxwell were on the trip. It was categorized as a Clinton AIDS trip, doing good businesses, doing good missions around the world type stuff. And Bill says, Sultan, this is like a transcript. I want you to stay in the hotel. I hope you use the pool. Clinton remembers the Sultan telling him. Clinton says he used the pool and got out and went to bed exhausted. As for the young women at the pool, Bill says he's clueless to whom the female was. So it sounds like, unless there's a whole lot more to this story, we might need to actually watch the video and listen to his demeanor. I had this discussion with some people running for office because there was one place that instead of doing live stream, they actually just do transcript. They record it and put a transcript out. You can't tell if someone's feeling or exerting themselves while they're in a debate with just words on paper. All right. So I know this is kind of dry, but that's how it was written. All right. And this was, it just says Outkick. It doesn't say who wrote this article. All right. There we go. All right. So Bill Clinton reveals Trump never said anything liking himself to Epstein crimes. Former Bill Clinton told reporters at the House Oversight Committee last week that he couldn't recall President Donald Trump saying anything that would link him to Jeffrey Epstein crimes. As Democrats pressed Clinton on his relationship with Trump and the pair's numerous mentions in the Epstein files, Clinton paused to clarify his stance. I hate this because I don't think I should inject anything, but I do not want to leave the impression he, the president, never, this is 20 something years ago, never said anything uh, to me to make me think he was involved in anything improper with regard to Epstein. In another point in the deposition, Clinton again clarified his stance on Trump's relationship with Epstein. As I said earlier, the only conversation I had with President Trump about this was in early 2000s, and I have no information that he did anything wrong. Lawmakers on the House Oversight Committee deposed the former president as part of the group's ongoing probe into Epstein and his crimes. Um, so, as you read this and you listen to the stuff that I put out a while ago, that the Democrats are unrelenting. They insist that Trump did something improper and illegal. And like President Clinton said that Trump never ever said anything to him at all about him being involved. It oh man, how do you put it? It's a witch hunt. That's all it is. Um, they were unrelenting. They just want someone to say yes, he was involved, and they're going to try to hammer President Trump, in which we know he wasn't. It's been proven over and over and over and over and over again that he wasn't included in this, and they still keep asking the questions. They put it in a Facebook post. They put it on commercials. They put it on news programs. They just keep doing it and trying to get people the muscle memory into their brain that he was involved somehow, and he wasn't. All right? All right, so why getting it right in Texas Senate race is important. All right, so what I have is, boy, it's already 12:43, guys. All right, so we've got people still on there. Give me a like and give me an American flag if you're still on there. Well, matter of fact, since we're talking about Texas at this point in time, give me a Texas flag. All right. And Rob, what's up with these dancing bananas? um, okay, a GOP candidate for, and I talked about this last week, and it came back out again, and there's a little bit more to it. In Texas's 7th congressional district, there's a primary in the Republican primary because the Democrat is uncontested. A GOP candidate running for Congress in Texas believes the state's open primaries may have allowed a Democrat to enter the Republican primary. Alexander Hill can't help but have questions about the political positions of his fellow candidate Alexander Calais as a face-off in Texas's 7th congressional district. Calais' background first caught Hill's attention in December. I was simply looking up my opponent's information and saw Transparency USA that his father had given thousands to Beto and other top Democrats. Hale said, referring to a former Democrat representative of Texas, Beto O'Rourke, Robert Francis, the failed Senate bid and gubernatorial candidate. He also failed at running for president, too. I thought, well, that's super strange. FEC filings show that the family has a track record of donating to Democrats, including Hale, to believe that the open primary system in Texas may invite Republican-looking candidates to detract attention from candidates with platforms that align more closely with the GOP base. Hale believes that that's a weakness shared by many states that use open primaries. I don't think it's much of a stretch to say, well, shouldn't we have had only have Republicans electing Republicans and Democrats only electing Democrats? Texas is only one of 14 states, it beat me to the punch, to use an open primary state system, allowing unregistered candidates to announce their consideration for an open primary to a party's primary race. In Khalil's case, the website states that he supports traditional Republican platforms like school choice, protecting women's sports, and I missed the page. All right, look at that, the picture of Robert Francis Orr. Man, here, let me make that a little bit closer. All right, yeah, sure. He's a work, isn't he? He's a tool. Well, Calais, uh, his campaign has received $182,000. Of those, $134,000 came from his own pocket. Calais announces his source for those donations is self-employed. His campaign also received 2 donations from his parents, Bashir and Griget, for $3,500 to Mosul. One donor can give a candidate for the primary, according to federal law. Bashir's donation to his son, a Republican, goes against the grain of his past political contributions. And the president and CEO of Ameripax, a technology, engineering, and industrial spaces company in Houston, Bashir has a long track record of political donations to Democrats. In addition to the contributions to Beto, he has donated to the campaigns of Hillary Clinton, Tim Kaine, the House Majority PAC, which is a liberal PAC, which is controlled by Democrat leadership in the House of Representatives and other Democrat candidates. Hale believes his proximity to his son should raise questions about Alexander Calais' affiliations. I would love to hear the explanation of why someone comes out of the blue with all this blue money and says, hey, I'm a Republican. You've never heard of me. I've never voted in a primary, but I'm the Republican you need. It doesn't make sense, Hale said. Hale said that the fears the candidates with sufficient financing like Calais could present a convincing picture in a primary process where the fundraiser is often used to establish legitimacy. So what I'm going to tell you is we had this discussion a few weeks ago. There's a little bit more to read, but I'm not even going to bother with it. I'm going to keep this in mind tomorrow morning when I'm going over election results and find out if my theory comes true. So with an open primary, you can flaunt the results of your opposition. So if you have enough people, well, in this case, the Democrats not even challenge. So she's all by herself. I would like to see how many Democrats actually voted in that primary and moved over to the Republican primary. And if he's in the lead, it's because he espouses Democrat beliefs and trying to make them moderately adequate to entice Republicans to vote for him over Mr. Hale, so Mr. Calais can win and be a soft candidate going against an incumbent Democrat. And the Democrat will probably win. That's how they plan it, right? It's all about making sure the right people get elected, right? And if you can flaunt the turnout into the wrong primary, you can make that happen. All right. Um, okay. And I didn't. Oh man, I missed an article. So the next article is I have to do this one by memory. It was an article concerning John Ken Paxton, John Cornyn, and Wesley Hunt. Mainly, it was about Paxton and Cornyn going after each other. The fact is that John Cornyn is a really good Republican. He's one of those dyed-in-the-wool classical Republicans that just want to get along with everyone. Uh, they're comfortable with arguing instead of implementing, because you know that running for office and being in office are two different worlds, and it's hard to make that transition sometimes. But the fact is that they were saying in the article that John Cornyn is an old timey Republican in a world where the opposition is in your face and condescending, disrespectful, and demanding answers right now. You have Ken Paxton and even to an extent Wesley Hunt that are going at it against John Cornyn because they are the aggressor types that President Trump has got along with the whole time he's been in office. And they know how to get things done, but John Cornyn is like the grandpa type guy. Yeah. Even though Ken Paxton's grandpa too, but John Cornyn has been in office since the early 2000s, and it's time for so. And that's why we need term limits in our country, because you get these old style candidates that continue to launch their way through the election system and keep getting reelected over and over and over again, instead of bringing new effective blood into the system, which is what we need. All right. So, like I said, it's 1 o'clock almost. So there's still 6 more hours to get out and vote for either Ken Paxton or Wesley Hunt. As you saw in my short I did earlier this morning, I'm pulling for Wesley Hunt. All right. Um, the thing I didn't get to, and we're going to run out of time because I got something I want to do on the Texas scorecard. I will talk about this definitely in the morning if I get a chance. If not, definitely tomorrow afternoon. Progressive lawmakers Bernie Sanders and Ro Khanna unveil a $4.4 trillion wealth tax targeting billionaires. Since proposed legislation targets 938 individuals and promises $3,000 payouts to families earning $150,000. Progressive lawmakers Bernie Sanders and Ro Khanna are targeting the billionaire class with a massive new tax proposal that seeks to seize trillions from the nation's wealthiest individuals to fund sweeping government spending spree. I think it's a wealth tax is what do you call it, unconstitutional because it deals with unrealized gains. So even if it passed Congress, even if it passed the president's signature, uh, it may not make it through the courts. The core of the proposal is a direct 5% annual wealth tax on assets, not just income. And so everyone's house magically became worth $5 million or under. Uh, Sanders and Khanna project the bill would raise $4.4 trillion in revenue over 10 years. It's like $440 billion a year. And the legislation cites several high-profile figures to illustrate such its reach. Elon Musk would owe $42 billion. Mark Zuckerberg would pay $11 billion. And Jeff Bezos would owe approximately $11 billion. Poof, gone. They have no more. They got to write a check, right? We'll talk about this in the morning. put this over to the side. All right. All right. So, in the Texas, well, one thing in the Texas scorecard I wanted to read was a quote by President Andrew Jackson. All right. Texas, with peace, could exist without the United States, but the United States cannot, without great hazard to the security of their institutions, exist without Texas. Andrew Johnson. Put it plain and simple, right? That's good. All right, so let's see. I wrote that. Okay. So I'm going to read from, since the comptroller is one of the hottest races right now in the Texas election and the primary. So Christy Craddock, she wrote on her final statement of the campaign, because one out of those three aren't going to make it past tonight. Christy Craddock. I'm running for Texas comptroller because Texas deserves a proven leader who will bring conservative fiscal discipline, real accountability, and a commitment to eliminating fraud, waste, and abuse. With my record as conservative leadership and focus on transparency and efficiency, I will make sure every tax dollar is spent wisely and in the best interests of hardworking Texas families. Kelly Hancock from Fort Worth, he's the acting comptroller right now, says I'm proudly advancing the Trump Abbott agenda and putting Texas first, endorsed and entrusted by Governor Greg Abbott to deliver results, not rhetoric, for Texans. As your acting comptroller, I made sure taxpayer dollars never go to terrorists or cartels, empowered law enforcement with ICE grants, launched Texas Doge, and dismantled DEI in state contracting to restore merit, safety, and um, conservative values. Okay, so I read Kelly Hancock. Okay, let's go back to Christy Craddock. All right, I'm running for Texas comptroller because Texans deserve a proven leader who will bring conservative fiscal discipline, real accountability, and commitment to eliminating fraud, waste, and abuse. With my record of considerable leadership, focus on transparency and efficiency, I will make every tax dollar is spent wisely and in the best interests of hardworking Texas family. That's Christy Craddock, and that first one I read was Kelly Hancock. Okay, and then there's Don Huffines. Don Huffines used to be a state senator, and he ran for governor 4 years ago, got beat, and he's running for a comptroller now. He has such a wide margin because he spent millions of dollars on this, and is about endorsed by every living creature in the state of Texas. Uh, he says in his closing statement, I'm the only Trump endorsed Texas first Republican for comptroller with a proven record of dodging government and putting crooks in jail for stealing your money. I don't work for the government. I work for you without taking a paycheck, and I'll fight every day to ensure zero tax dollars go to illegal aliens, Islamic terrorists, and woke DEI. All right. Uh, he won't take a paycheck because he's dirt rich. All right, which is all right. It's a goal. Should be the goal of uh, every business owner to go rich, right? And then I read all about the. You have to go back uh, to the podcast this morning to read about the attorney general, because I did that one there. So that is all that's in the Okay. Go back. Is there anything else? Go over. I'm going to refresh. I'm going to refresh Fox News and see if there's any updated stuff on the war. Give me a second here. Dan Crenshaw is upset that Ted Cruz endorsed his opponent. And heckler rips. Oh, wow. Heckler trips while dragged from Kristi Noem hearing after yelling at the secretary. Wow. Boy, they're dragging this guy out. I'm looking at a replay of it. He's mad. But they're paid disruptors also. All right. So we're going to give this up for the day. All right. Don't forget, polls are open in Texas until 7 p.m. I'm recommending Governor Abbott for governor, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick for Lieutenant Governor, Sid Miller for Agriculture Commissioner, Christy Craddock for Comptroller, Attorney General for State of Texas, Aaron Rice. U.S. Senator is Wesley Hunt, and then Raymond Hamden is the guy I'm backing for. Congressional District 31, State of Texas. All right. So let me show you my socials. My socials are for X, James Pierce Jr. For Facebook, James A. Pierce Jr. And Truth Social, James A. Pierce. And then my email is jpa report@gmail.com. Just looking at that, maybe I should have tried to keep the naming convention the same as much as I could, but they're all four of them different. No, Facebook and Truth Social are different. No, they're all different. Wow. Okay. All right. So, any questions, comments, concerns? Oh, great. I got attacked by dancing bananas. Ah, I like bananas. All righty. I like chocolate chip cookies. I'm about to have one as soon as I get off the air. All right. So, any other questions or anything? If not, I will sign off and I'll see y'all in the morning. I might be tired, but I'm going to go out and check on these some of these polling places, and then I might go to a watch party. Now I need to find out. All right. So this is James Pierce for the JP8 report. I will catch you on the flip side. I'm out.